Keeping a close eye on your forecast. Another heat advisory in effect for our portion of the Gulf Coast, continuing to stay hot and toasty for today. I'll be breaking down all the details that you need to know coming up.
And this morning on Fox 10 Midday, after some delays, construction on the downtown Mobile airport is getting back on track. We'll have your update.
The Trump administration says it's making progress with a number of countries as it tries to realign America's trade policy. I'm Mallory Rivera at the White House with the details coming up.
First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Fox 10 Midday on your Tuesday. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell.
And I'm meteorologist Jennifer Lambers.
Jen, just another day of surviving dangerous temperatures once again right here on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly right, Ashlyn. And you know, we are used to the heat and the humidity, but today is something that we're not quite used to.
Okay.
And it's something to keep in mind, especially with those heat advisories in effect. We haven't seen many issues so far for the season. And the culprit, it's a ridge of high pressure. As we do take a look across the southeast, you can start to see it moving across the Gulf waters. It's that clockwise rotation. So just beginning to push from our area, pushing a little south, making its way into the southern Gulf, and then back up to the coast of Louisiana and Texas. That ridge of high pressure, what it does is it keeps some of the rain chances away. It keeps our skies mostly clear, but also it builds in that heat. And that is exactly what we are experiencing for today. And so it's still calm and quiet out there. We saw some of those isolated, very isolated showers closer towards the Florida Panhandle early this morning. Now we're starting to see just a few clouds out there, but really not even bringing much relief. And so that heat advisory is in effect for today. We had it yesterday. It's still in place for today. It includes the entire Fox 10 viewing area. But as mentioned, this is heat that we're not quite used to. We haven't been seeing a lot of these heat advisories so far for the season being issued. And that's because our local National Weather Service office has its own criteria, because everywhere across the U.S. is going to be handling heat differently. We're used to it, but more here on the Gulf Coast. And so this is hotter than what we normally feel. The criteria that we have to meet is those heat indices, the feels like temperatures, getting close towards 108 degrees and above. And that involves much bigger area. Sometimes we'll have some isolated ones, but this is where everywhere today is really looking at the potential to reach that temperature and feeling so much hotter out there. So it's going to be important. Stay inside if you can. Take breaks, find that AC in case you work outdoors. Set timers, set an alarm for a reminder of when you need to go inside and take that break. Temperatures over downtown Mobile right now resting in the lower 90s, dew points mid 70s. We saw that dew point knocked down just a little bit, so it feels like temperatures still closer towards 102. Temperatures all across our area, we're seeing less of those 80s, more of those lower to mid 90s, but the feels like temperatures out there, triple digits everywhere except for Fairhope, Bruton, and Grove Hill, the only ones holding on to those upper 90s right now. Molino feeling like 109, Atmore 110, Destin also at 110. Again, take breaks, find that AC, get creative with some of those ways to cool down. As you make it further along into the rest of this afternoon, only anticipating those daytime highs and those feels like temperatures to continue to tick up. I'll have more details on your forecast and what I'm tracking for the days ahead of us and towards the weekend. That's coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
Jen, thank you. Well, breaking now and first at 11, the relocation of Mobile's airport is back on track after a pause in construction amid cost overruns. Mobile Airport Authority board members getting the update at a special meeting this morning. We're told the new airport will be located at Mobile Aeroplex at Brookley, where a 5-gate terminal is under construction. Once completed, commercial flights will move from Mobile Regional Airport in West Mobile. Mayor Sandy Stimpson hailed the news that the airport is back on budget, even if it means the construction pause pushed back the projected opening from fall until September of next year. Now, the Mobile City Council today will consider a resolution to accept about 3 acres of right-of-way along Michigan Avenue and Raven Drive from the airport. This will facilitate road improvements that are part of the new facility. And breaking right now, President Trump is once again moving to pull the U.S. out of UNESCO. The White House announced this morning that the U.S. will withdraw from the UN's Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Agency by the end of 2026. A spokesperson says the decision is based on what the administration calls UNESCO support for, quote, woke, divisive, social and cultural agendas, arguing they don't reflect the values voters supported. Now, the Trump administration previously left the agency in 2017, citing anti-Israel bias. And new this hour, the U.S. military releasing video, it says, shows the first ever test of a grenade drop from a drone. It all happened today during a training exercise at the Grafenwohr Training Center in Germany. The military says the video shows the recent testing, including operators attaching the grenades to the small quadcopters, flying the drones, and dropping the grenades on targets. Officials say these grenades were dropped using an audible dropper, which actually pulls a pin in flight while the drone is over the target, which was a wooden car representing a combat vehicle. In the meantime, new talks are planned between Ukraine and Russia, even as Moscow launches one of its largest air assaults of the war. At least one person killed and more than a dozen others injured in the latest attacks. This came just hours before a meeting with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and NATO allies to discuss President Trump's proposal to get more weapons to Ukraine. Well, as Ukraine waits for more weapons, negotiators from both countries will meet face-to-face tomorrow for the first time in 7 weeks. But the Kremlin has a laundry list of demands that are non-starters for Ukraine, including a withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from territories it captured, new elections in Ukraine, and a promise the country will never join NATO. The Kremlin says Russia is open to peace, but is also committed to achieving its goals.
Putin is following his war agenda with grim determination and has no interest in true negotiations. Together we have to stop this war machine by joining forces to support Ukraine with all our might.
Now, last week, President Trump gave Moscow a 50-day deadline to agree to a ceasefire or face tougher sanctions. Meanwhile, Bryan Kohberger, the man who has admitted to killing 4 Idaho college students in November of 2022, will be sentenced tomorrow. Many hope that's when he will explain why. Kohberger's guilty plea on July 2nd spared him the death penalty. That's when he admitted guilt to burglary and first-degree murder. However, the plea agreement offers little insight into a motive. Kohberger will be granted an allocution at his sentencing. That's the formal opportunity to speak directly to the court before he is sentenced by the judge to life in prison without parole. Kohberger will also forfeit his right to appeal. In addition, the victims' grieving families will be able to give impact statements. Well, a Mobile County judge hearing arguments over whether a man accused of torturing then murdering his girlfriend's 3-year-old child is eligible for the death penalty. The Supreme Court has ruled that defendants with intellectual disabilities can't be executed. Abraham Hatch, who is charged with capital murder and the death of Tyron Edward, has a borderline IQ. A clinical psychologist testifying for the defense argued that Hatch is not capable of independent living. Meanwhile, a prosecutor challenged that during a vigorous cross-examination. Mobile County Circuit Judge Michael Wyndham didn't immediately rule. Well, a major development this morning in the Jeffrey Epstein saga. Prosecutors at the Department of Justice want to meet with the accused child sex trafficker's former partner. Convicted felon Ghislaine Maxwell is serving her 20-year sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution in Tallahassee, Florida, after being convicted for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse minors. Now she could be granted immunity to share what she knows. Maxwell's attorney has been attempting to meet with Trump officials. He says she did not receive a fair trial. And this comes as President Trump faces increasing pressure to release the Epstein files, as well as his request to unseal grand jury transcripts in the Epstein sex trafficking case. And after a House Oversight Committee voted to subpoena Maxwell. Meanwhile, some Republicans are teaming up with Democrats to try to override the will of House Speaker Mike Johnson. Their effort to force a House vote on releasing more Epstein files appears able to succeed, which would let lawmakers decide whether to give the Trump administration 30 days to disclose unclassified materials. But it would need 218 signatures, and Democrats could supply all but 6. Enough House Republicans say they'd back the measure to get it over the finish line. Well, with less than 2 weeks until the deadline, the Trump administration says it's making progress on negotiating new trade deals. And China could be in line for another extension. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has the story from Washington.
The White House says it will announce a number of trade deals in the coming days ahead of President Trump's August 1st deadline. And that timeline could change for others if negotiations are making progress.
A lot of these trade deals are going to include substantial investments in the U.S.
In May, the U.S. and China announced a temporary deal that would lower tariffs on Chinese goods to 30%, and they plan to reach a more permanent agreement by August 12th. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says he will meet with his Chinese counterpart next week to discuss another extension.
We've actually moved to a new level with China where it's very constructive and very we're going to be able to get a lot of things done now.
But negotiations with India, the European Union, and Japan have been more challenging, and Democrats warn the steep tariffs could hurt the U.S. and global economy.
We need to make sure that this country walks away from the reckless Trump tariffs, which are going to increase costs on everyday Americans.
The threat of tariffs is also looming over the pharmaceutical industry. Yesterday, AstraZeneca announced it's investing $50 billion in U.S. manufacturing and research capabilities by 2030.
Part of it was our plan, but suddenly it's very clear the tariffs are further incentive for companies to locate their manufacturing plant.
AstraZeneca says it's also planning to build a state-of-the-art facility in Virginia as part of its investment. At the White House, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
And in local news now, Pritchard's Housing Authority hosting a groundbreaking ceremony this morning for new single-family affordable homes. Our Stephen Moody is live this morning with more on the story. And Stephen, it definitely took some team effort to make this happen. Stephen, thank you for that update. We're excited to see that project unfold in Pritchard. Well, in the meantime, the former CEO of the Mobile Housing Authority says he was wrongfully terminated, and now he's demanding a hearing. Michael Pierce was fired by the Housing Authority's board on July 1st in a 3-5 vote. Board members, though, have not publicly disclosed the exact reason for his termination, though one member indicated it stemmed from performance-related complaints. Pierce's attorney claims the board violated personnel procedures, arguing he was entitled to a pre-disciplinary hearing within 7 days of receiving written notice, which he says he was not. Pierce is asking to be immediately reinstated and compensated for lost wages. Now, a hearing before the Mobile County Personnel Board is scheduled for October. Well, we're a little more than a month away now from the municipal elections in our area, and we want to make sure you are prepared. You have yet another opportunity to meet some of the candidates in the Mobile mayoral race. It's tonight at BC Rain High School from 6 to 8 o'clock. Those doors open at 5:45. The event is being put on by Food Champs and Revitalize DIP. Barbara Drummond, Connie Hudson, Spiro Chirigatis, and Paul Prine will all be there to answer your questions. The election is August 26th. While still ahead on Fox 10 Midday, the Trump administration releasing more documents related to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as the summer continues, many folks are venturing out to our local beaches. Officials want to make sure you know the risks associated with rip currents. Jen, always a good reminder, especially if folks are hitting the beach today, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Ashlyn, and only anticipating our rip current risk to go up by the end of the week. Still nice for today, but just make sure you're being careful out there and apply that sunscreen over and over again. The UV index very high. Right now, a live view outside down on Dauphin Island. Nice, calm, quiet conditions. A little hazy out there. And those temperatures hot and toasty, only continuing to tick up later on today. I'll be breaking down more details on your Tuesday heat. That's coming.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday this morning. It's summer. It's hot out there now. We're definitely in the thick of it here on the Gulf Coast, and people are looking for any way to escape the heat. Many heading to our beaches to stay cool. But before taking a dip in the Gulf, it's important to check out the surf conditions. Rip currents are the #1 weather-related killer along the Gulf Coast. In fact, they account for about 80% of lifeguard rescues. Beach safety officials are continuing to educate people about the dangers. And they say it starts with knowing how to spot a rip current.
Is if you're looking at the beach itself and there's breaking waves, so you see the whitewash. Typically, you'll see it on one side or the other. That indicates where a sandbar is. So that's a shallow area. So that would be a good spot to swim. If you see breaking areas of water, but then in the middle of it, you see kind of like a smooth area where there's not whitewash or breaking waves. That typically indicates a deeper area of water, which is where a rip current would be present.
If you do get caught in a rip current, don't panic and do not try to swim against it. Instead, you want to float and wave for help. If you know someone headed to the beach, remind them about rip currents and the beach flag system. You can also get beach conditions sent straight to your phone by texting Al Beaches to 888-777. Well, new this hour, Panama City Beach's safety director says water rescues on Panama City Beach this summer are actually down 90% compared to this time last year. Director Daryl Paul says by July 21st of last year, his department had already performed 100 emergency rescues in the Gulf. This year, they've only had 9. Paul credits the drop to a more preventative approach by his lifeguards.
That's a major decrease in rescues simply because the lifeguards are focused on making preventions and preventing the bad from happening in the first place.
And good news, drowning cases are also down this year in Panama City Beach city limits from 3 last year to just 2 this year. However, beach safety says they want to get that number down to 0.
Taking another look at our forecast and making our way closer towards Pensacola Beach and looking absolutely stunning out there to begin for today. Look at the calm, vibrant water out there. You can't even really see any of those waves breaking along the shoreline there. Quite a few folks getting out and enjoying it for this Tuesday. Just make sure you stay hydrated, you find that shade, you cool down, and also apply that sunscreen over and over again. Temperatures out there currently just turning toasty. Closer towards Mobile, we're resting right around 90 degrees. It's going to be out in West Mobile at Mobile Regional. Pensacola resting in the lower 90s, but both spots dealing with that high humidity and also those feels like temperatures easily in the triple digits. What we do have helping us out just a little bit is those northerly winds trying to knock down that humidity just a little bit. If they were out of the south, it would be extremely muggy out there. Now, forecast high temperatures later on for today going to be maxing out mid to upper 90s. This is not the feels like temperature. This is the actual air temperature. It is going to be hot heading into the rest of your afternoon. And we are forecasting that daytime high of 97 at Mobile Regional. However, the previous record, well above average, is 98. So set back in 1907. If we continue to warm up later on today, we still have the potential to tie or break that record. Hopefully we don't see any of that, but these temperatures will be the hottest for today. We'll start to see some of that relief over the next few days once we start to introduce some of the rain coverage, but heat indices, the feels like temperatures is going to be staying toasty out there. Really anticipating more of those temperatures to be closer towards 110, even up towards 111 for portions of the Gulf Coast. Stay hydrated, take breaks, find that AC. Again, if you work outdoors, set that timer. That way you know when it's time to go back inside. Heat indices over the next few days, as mentioned, we start to go down a little bit heading into tomorrow, but especially by Thursday and Friday. Even then, I said a little bit, still going to be feeling closer towards 100 degrees, despite some of that rain coverage beginning to ramp up. If you start to see more breaks in the rain coverage over the next few days, then you're going to be feeling more of that humidity and feeling more of those toasty temperatures. Timing things out in our futurecast, we're starting off for this morning. Sunshine out there right now. We have a generous 20% chance for some of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Rain coverage really wants to ramp up closer towards Mobile, Baldwin counties by 5, 6, 7 o'clock. And then the Florida Panhandle will start to see more of that rain coverage beginning to build in once we get later on in the evening, really past sunset, 9, 10, 11 p.m. That's when we start to see it turning a bit more soggy. In case you are heading on down towards our local beaches, they're low today, low tomorrow for those rip currents, moderate by Thursday, and anticipating that to bump up by Friday. Also to note, the water temperatures after that tropical disturbance last week, they knocked down to the mid-80s, now quickly beginning to warm up just about a week later. Checking in on the tropics. Things are quiet out there. No new tropical development is expected over the next 7 days in the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf waters. As always, we'll continue to monitor, keep you updated right here on Fox 10. But today, it is going to be hot. It's going to be staying hot with that heat advisory in effect. Rain chances begin to bump up by Thursday and Friday. Those temperatures go back down to where we really should be this time of year. And then we slowly enter back into our summertime pattern across the Gulf Coast by the weekend and into next week. I'll have more details on your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
Jen, thank you. The time 11:24 on your Tuesday now. And the National Archives has released nearly 250,000 pages of FBI records related to the 1968 assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. The Trump administration says the release promotes transparency, including interviews and details about James Earl Ray's manhunt. But King historians say the files add little new information and omit FBI wiretap recordings, which remain sealed until 2027. King's children say the files expose a history of disinformation and surveillance and urge the public to view them in the context of his legacy. Well, it's a constant struggle for many. We're talking about getting enough sleep. Some simple ways to catch more Z's when Fox 10 Midday returns. Welcome back. It's a critical key to overall health, but about 1 in 3 U.S. adults report not getting enough rest or sleep every day, according to the CDC. And today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has some simple ways to get good Z's.
Just like eating, drinking, and breathing, sleep is a basic need and one many in the U.S. don't meet.
Most people have difficulty falling asleep at one point or another, or they wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep.
Sleep deficiency is linked to many chronic health problems like heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, obesity, and depression. If you're having problems getting those Z's, there are simple ways to set yourself up for success, says Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
The first one is something called cognitive shuffling, where you think of random, non-emotional words, and then you pick an item and spend a few seconds thinking of words that start with each letter in that item. So, for example, let's use shoe. The first letter is S, sock, soccer, spoon. Then H, horse, hare, hippo. You get the idea.
Gupta says this practice can help quiet your mind and block stressful thoughts that may be keeping you awake. Next tactic, he says to rely on good old-fashioned comfort.
Sleep with your socks on maybe. Use a weighted blanket. Even snuggle with the stuffed animal, no matter how old you are.
Finally, understand what makes you sleep and turn whatever that is into a habit that you follow every night before going to bed.
These tips and sticking to a nightly routine can provide signals to your body that it's time to wind down.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And the CDC also says proper sleep hygiene is a critical part of getting good sleep, which means keeping your bedroom quiet and at cool temperatures if you can, turning off electronic devices at least 30 minutes before bedtime, and avoiding large meals, alcohol, and caffeine before it's time for bed. Well, still ahead on Fox 10 Midday, Vanessa Pacheco is working on her golf swing. Where she's teeing it up is coming up in today's Very Vanessa. But first, Jen, if folks are out golfing today, should definitely take breaks and pack lots of water.
Oh, that is exactly right, Ashlyn. Lots and lots of water, breaks in the shade, and apply that sunscreen over and over again. The good news is that we will start to see some breaks in the heat, but it comes with a trade-off. Those rain chances ramping up heading into tomorrow by the end of the week, so it might not be the best conditions for outdoor golfing. Great time to spend it inside, but I'll have more details on your forecast and what I'm tracking. That's coming up after the break.
Are you serious about your golf swing but also love a good time? Well, there's a place in Pensacola where you can play, practice, and party. And get this, no golf cart is required. That's where we find Vanessa teeing it up indoors.
Oh, we are beating the heat and staying indoors. I am here at Bogey's Golf Suites. I'm joined by the owner, Brian Stocks. Okay, Brian, 1v1 golf, but as we're doing this, tell me about Bogey's.
Yeah, absolutely. We have you set up here on Target Golf, but Bogey's is the ultimate place to play, practice, and party here in Pensacola. So nice shot. Look at you.
Okay, 6 points. That's
there we
bad.
go. Yeah, that's better than nothing. So ultimate place in Pensacola to play, practice, and party. So if you want to play golf indoors, we have 75 different courses, some of the most iconic courses in the world. Practice, we have our simulators here that we can set you up on the driving range to work on your short game. And it gives you all the information and all the feedback that you want on every swing that you take. And then, of course, party. So we have this awesome building here with 6 different bays that you can bring in for whether it's a group or whether it's a guys' night, date night, anything like that. We're the ultimate place for all that.
Wow, I don't want to talk about the score you just got, but you talked about all the different game options that you have. This is not just for adults. Children can also enjoy it, right?
Correct, yeah. So our simulators are multi-sport simulators. So we have, right now you're looking at soccer, we have football, we have all kinds of different games that you can play, carnival games for the kids, skee ball, and ultimately zombie dodgeball, which is a blast.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to have to give soccer a try after this. Now, what do you stand for here? What is the motto?
So our motto, like we said, was play, practice, and party.
And
so.
Speaking of party, obviously you have a full bar and you also have food, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are probably the best side this time spot of town to grab a craft cocktail, and then we have an awesome full menu. So I think some of the best wings in town. You should come by and try it.
Oh, that sounds really good. Now you do have a few events here as well. Tell me about that.
Correct. Yeah, this Friday evening we're actually having a watch party for Happy Gilmore 2. So we're fired up about it. We're going to have a longest drive competition with a putter that you use, a hockey stick putter for the driver, and the winner will get a Bogies themed golden jacket in honor of Happy Gilmore. So yeah, we're fired up for it.
Too cool. Now, Brian, for anyone that wants more information on Bogies, where can they go?
So the easiest place to find us is on social media. If you look for us on Instagram or Facebook, it's Bogies Golf Suites, or on our website, bogiesgolfsuites.com.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for that. And I think you have to catch up. I think I have 104 and you have 30.
You actually hit a pretty good shot earlier.
I think I'm getting better.
Yeah,
this is helping me for sure.
Look
all right,
at that.
guys. We're going to toss things over back to the studio, but of course we're going to have all this on fox10tv.com. Make sure to click on the Very Vanessa tab.
What a fun place to go, and especially something to keep in mind with this heat, this humidity, and the storms. Enjoy the nice AC. Taking a live view outside down in Fairhope. Not much of a breeze out there. You can see how calm the winds are with the flag not really moving. A few folks still getting out there and enjoying it, soaking up some of that sunshine, maybe just relaxing in their cars with that nice view with the AC going. But as you do take a look at conditions across the southeast, the culprit for these hot and toasty temperatures located just on the south side of Louisiana. We have that ridge of high pressure that's just continuing to set further off towards our southern area over the Gulf waters. And this ridge of high pressure, it's bringing in those hot and toasty temperatures. It's also keeping some of those rain chances away. Things are calm and quiet to begin for this morning, but we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms to continue to ramp up heading into this afternoon later on today. Let's go ahead and time it out on our futurecast, but I actually expanded this. So this is going to take us into tomorrow. So if you do have any of those Wednesday plans, rain chances will be higher tomorrow. We'll have a look at that. But look, going ahead, starting off for this morning, we start to see some of those spotty showers coming into play closer towards 5, 6, 7. Wants to bring in the highest coverage closer towards Mobile and Baldwin counties, but again, it's going to be pretty isolated. We will start to see increased rain chances on the Florida Panhandle later on tonight, just a little bit after 9 o'clock. Some of these could be a little stronger. Heavy downpours, frequent lightning, even some gusty winds. We'll start to see that bowing out just a little bit there. Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith will keep you updated on Fox 10 News at 9 and 10 o'clock. Waking up tomorrow morning, it's quiet, but it will be our typical summertime pattern where we start to introduce some of those showers and storms firing off just after 12 o'clock. Rain coverage will be greater. It's going to be more of a scattered look. Still some breaks in the coverage out there with some peaks of sunshine. But look at that. It only continues into the evening. 7, 8, 9, and 10 o'clock. We'll finally start to turn a bit more quiet closer towards midnight. So again, rain coverage tomorrow is higher. Keep that in mind for any outdoor plans. Heat advisory in effect for today. What this means, those heat indices getting closer towards 108 degrees. Everywhere in the Fox 10 viewing area has a chance to see those toasty temperatures. We're going to be maxing out with the actual daytime highs mid to upper 90s, but the feels like temperatures taking that humidity into account even hotter. Take breaks, stay hydrated. If you don't have to be outside, I'll put it off for a few days. Now, the UV index out there, that is also extreme for today and tomorrow. Apply the sunscreen over and over again. Burn time really closer towards 10 to 15 minutes out there. It won't take much. A live view outside down in Orange Beach, looking beautiful out there. A few folks getting out and enjoying it for today. Rip current risk at our local beaches low for today and tomorrow. Moderate by the time we get closer towards Thursday. And then by Friday, it does bump up to high. Please make sure that you're being careful out there. We will start to see some of those hot and toasty conditions with that 20% chance of showers for today. Rain coverage ramps up heading into tomorrow, even higher by Thursday and Friday. I'll have more details on your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
All right, Jen, thank you for that update there. Well, right now on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream, Good Day Gulf Coast anchor Sarah Wall is taking a closer look at how cases of flesh-eating bacteria are being reported in Gulf Coast waters. Officials say several people have died. Now, Sarah's Spotlight talks about how the bacteria spreads, what to do if you think you might have come into contact with the Vibrio bacteria, and how to check the safety of the waters you go to. And remember, as always, Sarah's Spotlight is live weekdays at 9 a.m. Well, it's hard to believe, but the school bell will start to ring in less than a month for many students in our area. And Fox 10 News is committed to making sure all students have the supplies they need. That's why we're teaming up with 3 community partners to help make that happen. All are helping Fox 10 collect school supplies for those in need. We're collecting things like clear backpacks, notebooks, 3-ring binders, pens, and paper. The donations will benefit children in the care of Mobile and Baldwin County Department of Human Resources. Those drop-off locations include Sandy Sansing dealerships in Foley and Daphne, White Spunner Construction in Mobile, Tobias and Comer Law Firm in Mobile, and of course here at the Fox 10 studios. We have a full list of items that are still needed and all of the drop-off locations on our website, fox10tv.com. Operation Backpack runs through this Friday. Well, it's time for today's This Day in History. The first session of Florida's Legislative Council as a territory of the U.S. met on July 22nd, 1822 in Pensacola. Some members from St. Augustine had to travel 59 days by water just to attend. The second session was in St. Augustine and required Western delegates to travel perilously around the peninsula on a 28-day trek. During the session, it was decided that future meetings should be held in Tallahassee, which is halfway between. Well, still ahead, she's just 11 years old, but she's already conquered the top of every state in the U.S. Meet the young girl who is climbing her way into the record books. We'll have that story for you. Plus, Elon Musk is combining fast cars and fast food with a side of Hollywood style. We'll show you what Musk is cooking up after this. All right, welcome back. There's a new and unique attraction coming to Los Angeles for Tesla drivers.
So take a look at this. This is an outside look at Elon Musk's new 24-hour diner and drive-in theater in Hollywood. The state-of-the-art facility will become a place where Tesla drivers can go to charge up their electric vehicles and enjoy food and a movie while they wait.
Pretty cool. According to reports, Musk is also trying to recruit high-profile chefs, but an official opening date has not yet been announced. Looks pretty exciting, Jen. What do you think?
What an interesting concept. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like drive-in movie theaters, except now it's more in your car that you're watching it.
Right.
And exclusive too
That's
to
true.
Tesla drivers.
And more people, I won't be there. I don't have a Tesla,
I know.
unfortunately. But maybe we can find a friend with a Tesla, hop inside, and
There
then
you go.
go
But
see the movie there.
I told Joe earlier, I was like, I think this is a thing of the future.
I think it is, for sure.
We're getting
exciting
there.
to see. All right, well, listen to this.
An 11-year-old girl from Connecticut soaring to new heights while putting her name in the record books.
Yeah, meet elevation expert Madison Herrick. For the past 2 years, she and her dad have been hitting the highest heights in every state across the country.
The two, along with the crowd of supporters, saved the best for last. The group climbing up Mount Frisell, the highest peak in her home state, Connecticut, over the weekend.
Wow. Madison thanking her parents and friends, saying she would not have achieved her dreams without their support. And up next for Madison, well, she hopes to one day climb Kilimanjaro, Rainier, and then hopefully Denali. That's if her mom lets her. She's incredibly brave.
That is fantastic. Great for her. I'd also like to see if she heads on out towards the non-continuous U.S., heads towards Hawaii, too.
She will. Look
I
how,
bet she
look
will.
how adventurous she is. Well, this weekend, the first ever pickleball tournament for the Eastern Shore Art Center will be held. And while registration is closed now, volunteers are still needed.
That's exactly right. The tournament is this Saturday at Lott Park in Daphne. In addition to lots of great play, there will be cold plunges, food trucks, and even CPR demonstrations.
Yeah, Fox 10 News is excited to be there along with iHeartRadio, and the Art Center is providing fun make and take art projects as well. So a little something for everyone. Prizes and medals will be awarded. You can sign up to volunteer by following the link on our website, fox10tv.com. Jen, I'll be out there helping Lanice run the brackets for this tournament. So how's the weather looking for
Well, it is
Saturday?
looking a little hot and toasty, so it's going to be important. Make sure you stay hydrated, find that shade. We do have the rain chances, but the good news is that we can time it out just a little bit, as we will have a team of meteorologists there as well. We did see that beautiful live view out there on Dauphin Island, a little hot and toasty. And just a reminder, it's a great time to go ahead, download the Fox 10 weather app. That way you're staying updated with the forecast. Especially as soon as you open it, you'll get all of those alerts right there at the top. That way you know that heat advisory is still in effect for today. But taking another live look outside right now over downtown Mobile from our Navigator Credit Union camera, we will start to see some of that sunshine out there. Oh, it's hot and toasty. Temperatures lower 90s. Those northerly winds are helping us out just a little bit. Dew points in the mid 70s, feeling more like 102. Temperatures out there right now warming up to the lower to mid 90s. However, it's feeling much warmer with that humidity. Look at Atmore, 111 right now. Molino, 109. Bay Minette, Calvert, all coming in at 105, along with Navarre. Take breaks, stay hydrated, find that AC in case you are spending any time outside for today. Those heat index values will continue for today and tomorrow. We start to notice that little dip by Thursday and Friday once we start to introduce some of the rain coverage out there. However, I know it's hot. I know it's July. I'm already here for it. We've been talking about the pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks already, coming in back, heading into next month. But this is what I'm looking forward to. This is my fall countdown. What a great time to go ahead and bring it in when we're feeling this heat. SEC college football, again, SEC keyword there, begins in 37 days. The first NFL game, not preseason. I can't believe that starts next week, but the first official NFL game will be 44 days away. First day of fall, officially 62. And also Halloween, still in the triple digits, 101 days to go, along with Thanksgiving at 128. I'm ready for it. I know that we all are, but I'm going to have final look at your toasty forecast here across the Gulf Coast. That's coming up in just a little bit. For right now, what we're starting to see is a live view outside in New Smyrna Beach. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back in. A motorcyclist that led law enforcement on a high-speed highway chase miraculously walked away from a crash, where he was thrown from his bike at speeds reaching triple digits. Jeremy Roth has that incredible video and more in today's Take a Look at This.
A motorcyclist in California is lucky to be alive after a high-speed chase ended with the rider flying off their bike at roughly 120 miles per hour. According to KABC, the dramatic chase in Long Beach started when the driver was wanted for speeding and attempted to flee. The ensuing chase reached reported speeds of over 140 miles per hour before the biker, zipping between vehicles, clipped a car and crashed his motorcycle. Incredibly, the suspect is seen getting up and walking back to the crashed bike before authorities arrived and took him into custody. Another high-speed pursuit, this one in Minnesota, started with a pair of suspects flying past authorities in a speeding pickup and ended with a high-speed light show as stop sticks deployed by pursuing officials sent sparks flying during the chase, which topped 100 miles per hour at times. But eventually, the tire damage did take its toll, and the truck was stopped, with both suspects apprehended. Here's another 100-plus mile-an-hour chase that started as a simple stop sign violation and turned into a multi-jurisdictional demolition derby. The driver allegedly fled a traffic stop in Wisconsin and ended up in Illinois, trading paint with officials from multiple agencies as he bobbed, weaved, and bashed into pursuing squad cars. It was a strategic pit maneuver that brought the careening carnage to a halt. Okay, all this motoring mayhem is a good reminder to help your local authorities by slowing down and moving over. The California Highway Patrol shared video of officers addressing one roadside crash when another happened in nearly the same spot. Thankfully, the driver wasn't seriously injured, and CHP used it to remind everyone to stay vigilant and be cautious when you see those flashing lights ahead. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
It's that time, 3 to know before you go today. Frightening moments at a California jewelry store. Security footage behind me now shows about 20 people armed with sledgehammers and pickaxes trying to break into Al Amira Jewelry last week. As they smashed the door, the owner grabbed his gun and fired one shot, scaring them off. The thieves quickly fled in their cars. And then major changes are in store for sporting events at Catholic high schools in the Archdiocese of Mobile. Starting this school year, all bags brought into a stadium or gym must be clear. Officials say the move is intended as a proactive step to ensure public safety and not in response to any incident. And then finally, this Sunday's Brickyard 400 race in Indianapolis is going to be extra sweet. That's because race organizers have tapped Cookie Monster to be this year's Grand Marshal. So he'll help kick off the race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cookie Monster's appearance is all part of Sesame Street's Road Trip Across America campaign. Jen, I heard Joe Emer's amazing impression of Cookie Monster
at
the end of Studio 10, and I'm impressed. I didn't know he had that talent.
He did great. And I don't know if you saw it either. You had a little surprise guest walk behind you at the very beginning of the segment. George, our maintenance guy, if you saw him walk past really quickly.
Say hey to George.
Yes, hello, George. Well, let's go ahead and take a final look at your forecast. And heading into today, those temperatures are going to be hot and toasty. We are well above average, possibly seeing record-tying, even breaking temperatures for today. The previous record is 98 degrees set at Mobile Regional, West Mobile, back in 1907. But it is going to be feeling much hotter than that once you take the humidity into account. Heat indices, it feels like temperatures easily in the triple digits. We're already there for many spots across the Gulf Coast, but possibly even getting closer towards 110 degrees out there. Stay hydrated, take breaks. If your kids have camps, sports practices, anything that they're doing outside, make sure that they are also drinking plenty of water. A good day to go ahead and have some of those electrolyte drinks as well as just on standby. Now here's a look at what we're tracking over the next 7 days. Rain chances do ramp up heading into tomorrow, but it's still hot and humid out there. We'll start to see some of that increased rain coverage, especially in the afternoon and the evening. So we turn a bit soggy for Wednesday afternoon and evening plans. And then we turn a bit more widespread by Thursday and Friday, and we resume back to our summertime pattern just a little bit as we get closer towards the weekend. Don't let that scare you for any outdoor plans by Saturday and Sunday. Just be flexible.
Jen, we are over halfway through July. We can do this, people.
We got this. We got this.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. All right. Thank you all so much for watching Fox 10 Midday and spending time with us. We'll see you at 3 p.m.